Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Sports Buds. I'm Jack, here with Carson and Luke. And Carson, what do we got for us to start?
Year two jumps that you're looking for.
All right, I got a hot take. Someone that didn't even play last year because he was hurt. I'm thinking Darius Geis gonna be a beast
Okay,
for the
I
Suns.
like that. Yeah.
See, I think he's going to be solid, but at the beginning of the season, he's absolutely going to be splitting carries with Adrian Peterson, though.
I think he left, didn't he?
No, he's still there.
You sure?
Yeah, AP signed a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
No.
He's sticking.
I can't imagine he's gonna get
Guys,
by the end of the year. I think Geis will be the man. Because AP looked good, but he wasn't himself. It's not like he's AP.
yeah, they're definitely trying to get AP out of there. They're just buying some time with the 2-year deal, I think. But overall, I think guys will probably have I think they'll split carries in the beginning of the season. Then he's just going to take over. At least that's what I'm hoping for.
Who were the rookie wide receivers last year? I'm trying to think. That was a pretty crappy class, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't a good one. Because I'm looking at the top 25. Yeah, like Calvin Ridley was the best one.
He was pretty good. I mean, he had a good.
Because the best two was Calvin Ridley and Anthony Miller from the Bears.
I could see Anthony Miller having even more of an impact this year.
He will. He's going to be our guy. We're kind of buying into him.
I expect a really big year from Sam Darnold, especially with the addition that they made of Le'Veon Bell.
Baker, I think, is going to be Baker.
I
I think Baker's only thing is he's got to lower his turnovers, but other than that, I think he's on the way up.
It's not really a hot take to say Baker, though. I feel like.
No, it's not hot.
I'm just talking like just in general about
which quarterback going into their second year do you think is gonna suffer the biggest sophomore slump?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is it Josh Rosen?
Well,
I think Josh Rosen's going to turn it around. I don't know when. It might not be this year. It might be the next. I don't know when. But I always thought Rosen was solid. I actually can't stand Josh Allen. I don't think he's going to be very good.
How dare, dude? Josh Allen's my boy, but real quick though, with Rosen though, what makes you think that he's actually going to recover?
Because any quarterback that would have been put in Arizona's team was going to struggle. That team was god awful. I mean, that team is god awful. That offensive line is horrible. I mean, absolute trash. A. B. The reason I like Rosen, again, this is like a personal opinion, but as a guy that played quarterback, just from watching him, he looked the most fluid of any of them, in terms of movement in the pocket, getting the ball out with a smooth release. I'd say the only guy and Darnold had probably good feet, but even Darnold's release, I agree with Carson in the fact that I think Darnold's going to be good this year, but I'm not disagreeing with that. But what I'm just saying is when they first came out, I was really high on Rosen because he did a lot of things that you look for in a pro quarterback. Now, granted, he had not a good rookie season, but he was also placed in a terrible, terrible situation, absolutely god awful. So I don't know how many other guys really could have done anything there, to be honest with you. And I don't the reason I don't like Josh Allen is simply because I've always been I hate the guys.
Can we stick on Josh Rosen for a second?
Yeah.
He only threw for 11 touchdowns though and 14 interceptions. I understand that the offense wasn't good, but I mean,
Jack, that offensive line was horrible.
Really
it was horrible. We talked about Kyler Murray. Oh, I wonder how he's gonna do. The only reason I'm not as worried about him is because he's fast as hell. Otherwise, if he was a pocket passer too, I'd say RIP. You'd be dead. That offensive line is god awful.
I mean, the offensive line was god awful, but he also set the NFL record for worst passer rating.
I know, and I mean, we're also talking about quarterbacks with high interceptions, and I agree with Carson. Again, I think Darnold's gonna have a good year, but he threw for 15 interceptions. I mean,
well, I'm not hating on the interceptions because that happens with rookies, but he set the NFL record for the worst passer rating in a season.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He just didn't play well. I mean, I understand that we can say that the people or around him were shit and all that.
He had a coach that got fired after one season for good reason.
But what about the Dolphins is any better though? What about that offense is any better than Arizona's?
Whose? Jets?
The Dolphins.
Oh, I agree. The Dolphins, wouldn't say I think that they have many pieces around, but I think they're better than they have more talent, excuse me, on that team than Arizona does. They're not good, but they're what do you call it? I don't want to say average because they're still probably slightly below average, but they're not god awful on every aspect of offense. I mean, really, if you looked at the offense for Arizona, and I'm not defending Josh Rosen to say like he's the second coming, he's gonna be amazing. Like what I wouldn't necessarily just take a shot on him yet. I don't think he's like completely done because he had a horrible season. Like I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it. It was horrible, but like you also look at who was around him, who was coaching him. Like and also the
My
guy
point is, I just don't think it got any better.
who
I don't think his situation has really gotten any better. He just went from a
he
struggling
went
team
to
to
a
another struggling
he
team.
went to a slightly better team with a way better coach.
Okay. I mean, I still don't see the weapons though. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with the weapons, but I'm saying like
because he had David Johnson back there. Like he's a good player.
that goes against the coaching though because they did not run David Johnson enough,
I mean,
and you can attest to that.
yeah. I feel like
You want to take pressure off a rookie quarterback? You run
you-
David Johnson. That's how
So-
you take pressure off your rookie.
So is it safe to say then that you think he's going to make the biggest jump?
I would say I don't know how to say. I would say it's uncertain, but I like him more than other people do. I'll just say
I think the biggest second year jump out of a player is going to be Antonio Callaway.
I like that.
oh, all right.
Yeah, I think Antonio Callaway is going to have an
Although the only
extremely high
thing
jump this year
I
in
would-
production.
I wouldn't disagree. Wouldn't fully disagree with you, but at the same time, you're also thinking like Odell's in the offense now. Like,
I think that's going to benefit him though, because he's not going to be facing a number one corner.
oh yeah, it'll take corners off of him. Don't get me wrong.
Baker Mayfield
But
likes throwing the
the
ball around
targets-
though, so
the targets are
he
probably
likes
gonna go
throwing
more-
the ball around.
Yeah, he does. But the targets will probably go more towards what do you call it? Targets will probably spread around more towards those guys. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Chubb even bounces up even more than he did last year.
I don't know about that. Just because you have another mouth to feed with Hunt though.
Yeah, but Hunt's not in the feed until week 8.
True. I mean, didn't Duke Johnson get a request to trade?
Yeah, he requested a trade.
He
Duke
didn't get.
Johnson's booty
He hasn't
compared to
gotten it
those
yet.
two.
I mean, they would kind of be forced to use. They would probably have to use Nick Chubb a lot more, like in the passing game, which I kind of want to see. Because if he can be more of like a pass catching running back, that's just gonna up his value entirely.
You know who might be good is oh actually I got a few more. Because I was looking at I pulled up the
Let's
list.
just keep going with like.
I'll keep it quick. Whoops. I pulled up a list of rookies. 2 wide receivers. Cortland Sutton from the Broncos and James Washington from the Steelers.
I think James Washington has a lot of potential just because of how often their receivers just get super good.
Explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, no complaints by me. But yeah, I say my biggest jump is gonna be Antonio Callaway, and this is kind of like I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think Saquon Barkley could have not a down year, but like see maybe a downward spiral in production just because I don't think they added anything to help because he's gonna be the center of attention.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. And they traded Odell.
Like he's still gonna do Saquon things, but like as far as I don't know production and like yards per carry, I don't know if he's gonna.
I'll lock my biggest jump as James Washington. That's what my
Yeah.
biggest jump will be. I'll lock that in as mine. I don't know. We'll see, but that's what the
Yeah, there's some Packers 2 second year wide receivers that I'm excited to see. So
Yeah. True.
and obviously Anthony Miller, he's a dog, but
Yeah, he is. No doubt in my mind. What's the next one we got? Oh, you want to talk?
Hold up. I have not said my piece on my fucking boy.
Oh, okay.
Josh Allen is going to have the biggest jump of any player who was a rookie last year
Can I
going
have-
to the 2019 season, 100%.
All right.
Oh.
The reason, can I just give you my reason why not?
Sure, sure.
Okay, this is what I was trying to get at, and then like we were sticking in Josh Rosen. As a quarterback, as a former quarterback, not saying that I'm some expert, but watching Josh, this is my biggest pet peeve, is when people recruit, people draft, or whatever, just based on physical. What do you call it? Physical attributes. So the guy's 6'6" and can sling it 90 yards, but he had a below 50% completion percentage and lost to all good teams. The guy, like, that's what. So when he came out of the draft, I was never high on him because for that reason alone, right there. Now we get to the NFL, he is doing the complete opposite of what everybody said he was gonna do. Everybody thought he was gonna be a slinger, like he was just gonna, throw the ball real well. Now again, like he had a better season than Josh Rosen. I get it. Like I'm saying, Josh Rosen might turn it around, and I know that's a hot take, and I'm probably taking too much of his shit on Josh Allen, but what I mean is like, I mean, if you look at the guy was known for his arm, and he used more of his legs, which is great. Fine, he learned to adapt, but I can't see many teams letting him do that 2 years in a row. After the way I saw him run, he's not a fast guy. He made things happen when it broke down because people didn't expect it. He's not a fast guy. He threw more interceptions than touchdowns, just like Josh Rosen. You were pointing that out earlier. He actually had a pretty bad statistical season throwing the ball. And my point is, like, if you want to make it in this league now, in the NFL, this is just a fact. This is the way I like Lamar Jackson, but this is the same way I feel about Lamar Jackson. If you don't adapt to passing in this league, you will die. You adapt or die. Like, your career will end, I mean. That's really how it is. I mean, if you look at, like, Cam Newton, he had to learn how to throw the ball better. And he still hasn't won for that reason. He's not an elite passer. He's a good passer, but he's not elite yet. A lot of the guys that Robert Griffin III, dud, was a runner. Michael Vick's career was cut short. Now, granted, he went to jail. I get it. But never won a Super Bowl because he didn't throw the ball. He could sling it downfield. I get it. He had a really strong arm, but it's different from accurate. My whole point is, like, Josh Allen has really good young intangibles for the beginning of his career. He might have, maybe you're right, maybe next year he goes off again, or like running the ball, but I can't see it continuing. I just can't see it continuing.
Here's my
title for the podcast: Adapt or Die.
So here's the thing about Josh Allen. I'm looking at it from a purely numbers standpoint. It's from like a mix of like, so pretty much just like fantasy point wise and like how I think he's gonna do. And I looked at the trends, and he finished somewhere around I think 20th. Yeah, 20th in fantasy points last season with like 208, and that wasn't anything too impressive. But if you actually take a look at it, he only played 12 games, and he averaged 17 points a game. So if you average out like the how much he got, because he tore it up at the end of the season where he was just like running the ball like crazy or whatever, but he would have scored more points than Baker Mayfield.
Do you think?
The full 60.
Let me ask you this: do you think he's gonna rush for another, let's say, 600 yards and 8 touchdowns? Do you think he's a fast enough runner where he's gonna have the same season? No defense is gonna stop him.
I don't think that these are really designed runs, though. They never look like it. That's the thing.
I know, but a lot of players that have never had design runs and been takeoff runners, guys that just take off and run, there's been plenty of those guys. They stop them. So do you think Josh Allen is fast enough not to be one of the guys that gets stopped?
I think he's going to be able to do it again next year.
I feel like 1 year of tape on a guy like that is kind of done with his rushing career, and he's got to learn how to throw it down the field.
Well, he's going to be working. You think that's probably what he was working on all offseason. You think he was successful with running? He wasn't he wasn't a good quarterback. So that's what he's going to be working on the entire offseason. I think he's going to improve upon that. I mean, he was a rookie last year. He's going to improve. And also, he doesn't really have anyone right now that he can throw to, which is unfortunate and kind of takes away from it. But the more weapons he gets,
he got better. Cole Beasley.
No, but I think that Josh Allen will be able to make a big jump, and I think he's going to be really huge for the Bills this year. And even like fantasy-wise, I think he could be like a possible sleeper for like someone who could put up a lot of points.
I definitely agree with being a sleeper, 100%. Should we do QBs with the most to prove this year?
Sure.
I'm gonna go. The number one for me is Mitch Trubisky.
I think that as a Bears fan, I think that's fair. But at the same time, yeah.
No, there's no at the same time. I mean, unfortunately for him, he was stuck in the same draft with Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, and they've obviously exceeded what he's done currently and have shown, I think, much more.
They might do that the rest of their careers even. But that being said, if you look at him as an individual, he had quite the jump from year one, year two.
I mean, yeah, kinda. He had his moments. He was still super inconsistent, though, like extremely inconsistent.
When he needed to be at his best, he played his best, I would say. And as a guy that watched every game, I could say that confidently. He also just pointing it out. He missed
going into year 3. Well. He doesn't need to win a playoff game with the best defense in the league.
He missed 2 games as well.
Well, wait, what does that have to? I'm just talking about having stuff to prove.
I'm just saying in terms of statistics
to prove going into this year.
In terms of what he's got to prove in the winning in the playoffs. Yeah, sure, I agree with the defense he has. I would agree.
That's what I'm saying. He's got to prove a lot. I mean, last year he was super inconsistent. He did get bailed out in a lot of moments. I mean, I know you could still be proud of what he showed, but
yeah, I mean, I would agree with that to an extent. But he also did. I mean, we gave him 40 seconds to get down the field, 60 yards, and set up a game-winning field goal, and he did exactly that. It's our fault that
he did exactly that, but are we just going to base one game off of are we ready? I'm just saying he has to prove it through the season.
But you're talking about playoff game performance. He threw for 300-plus yards and a touchdown at 60%. That's a pretty good game for your first playoff game. I'm not saying that he played consistently well the whole year, but I'm just saying if you're talking about playoffs, you're saying like
that's what we're talking about is consistency. He has to prove how to be consistent. He hasn't proved yet that he's better than Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he has a lot to prove as far as where he was drafted, the team that he is on, the expectations. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this season.
Okay.
Having year 2 of Matt Nagy, like there's a lot that goes into this. I mean,
to your point, I agree. He can be inconsistent. I would agree with that. For sure, no doubt about that. But you also made a point about playoffs, and that's all I was saying. Like when he needed to play well in the playoffs, he did just that. And to your point, how many playoff games has Deshaun Watson won?
No, I didn't say Deshaun Watson didn't have anything to prove, but you're telling me that you're more confident right now about Mitch Trubisky than you are about Deshaun Watson. I mean, come on, my man.
Well, Deshaun Watson can't seem to stay on the field, so I will do like having a quarterback that can stay on the field.
Didn't him and Mitch Trubisky miss like the same amount of games last year? Yeah. I mean, you can't blame a torn ACL on him.
Season.
Last season, Deshaun Watson played the whole season. The year before that, he missed.
He tore his ACL.
I know. I'm just saying.
He's fine.
Yeah,
I think Deshaun Watson's gonna be great. I like him. I'm just saying. Hold on, I'm just looking at something. I'm just saying that I wouldn't necessarily say that Mitch is like I wouldn't say it's head over heels as much as other people say it is. I think that Deshaun Watson's definitely got an edge on him, but I wouldn't say it's as much head over heels as people say it is. You know what I mean?
Luke, even I disagree with that, man. Watson is like he has weapons in his and like he has Hopkins, which is crazy for him, but he's done more.
I just said he's better. I didn't disagree with that.
No, but it's like it's pretty substantial. It's pretty like it's real obvious that he's better.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna take it one step further with you, Luke. Mitch Trubisky not only had 4 games over 300 yards, he only had 4 games over 250 yards this season. So he
also-
needs to prove how to be a more consistent passer of the football, and that's just that's
I
just
think
what I'm saying.
I think too, to your point, and I'm not disagreeing with you that he doesn't have anything to prove. I literally agreed with you right when you opened up. What I am disagreeing with is the degree to which you're acting like it's make or break. He's gonna, he sucks if he doesn't have a great year this year. And
Well, I mean, if you're the Bears and you
I-
have a top defense, are you not going to start to think about what else you need to improve to take that next step? Because
Yeah,
winning
I
isn't
would
always
agree with
guaranteed.
that. I would say the one that I had just popped into my mind first was Dak, because he's got a lot of money that he wants. And
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know how exactly they.
I'd say Andrew Luck.
No, Dak is
Yeah.
going to get money no matter what.
I don't.
If the
Dak
Cowboys
would be.
have like a winning record, he'll get a lot of cash.
Dak will be an idiot to take a lot of cash.
Dak is guaranteed 25 mil a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just
Dak,
the Cowboys.
Dak will be, if
He's
if
gonna
he takes that, if he takes that, he's a moron. Let me just say that.
Why? Why is that a bad idea?
Well,
that money.
In terms of his financial system, sure, it's a great idea. In terms of him winning, he's done.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they won't be able to pay Zeke and Amari
He'll be able
and
to
him.
at least. They can get another wide receiver.
Jack, they will not be able to pay all three of them.
Yeah, Amari will probably go, and they'll be able to draft some wide receiver that's good. That happens all the time.
And they already got Gallup too.
Did you see how bad he was compared to when he had Amari? I'm not saying he was horrible, but did you see how much worse he was without Amari?
I'm saying they're going to get another wide receiver with however long they have left in their contracts. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I think that they'll lose Amari eventually, but I don't think it's going to be that terrible. And if they find a way to keep all 3, that's pretty good.
In my opinion, it's just my opinion. A lot of people agree, a lot of people disagree. It's kind of yes or no kind of. My thing is, I like Dak. I actually think I think he's a solid quarterback in the league. But my thing is, he's not someone that you can win with without other people around. Like, okay, I just take that. Let me rephrase what I want to say. There's a lot of quarterbacks in the league. Even the best ones need people around them. I get it. You can't win, I guess, without anybody. But there's some quarterbacks that can make things happen with worse casts than others, i.e. Brady, Rodgers, Breeze. I can name more. I'm just blanking right now. I'm just naming the top ones. Dak, I do not see in that same category as I can take whatever talent you throw at me and I can make them somewhat manageable. I feel like he's kind of one of those guys that needs a Zeke around him or needs an Amari with that, or it's like that's just the way I see it. So I feel like taking a kind of a hometown deal, not where it's like you're not getting paid quarterback money because he still should be getting paid a significant amount, but taking a top-notch deal, I think would be moronic for his winning in terms of the future. That's just me. But I mean, obviously, I'm not Dak Prescott. He's gonna probably just take cash. So,
Dude, I would take money. There is no reason why I wouldn't take the money. You're on a good team. They're solid. You take that cash. You be that quarterback.
He has to take advantage of the market while he can.
You never know how many teams are gonna like. He doesn't have a chance if he goes somewhere else. I think he needs people to be around him, so he's gonna have to learn an offense or something and all of that. And I think he fits really well in the one he's in right now, which is why he's able to do so.
I agree, but I'm not saying he doesn't fit in Dallas.
Best situation to win in, and if you get paid that much money to stay in that situation, you stay in it.
Yeah, but you're not gonna have the same situation, is what I'm saying.
It's not really going to be the big of factor because if you get rid of one of the players, you're probably going to be able to keep 2 of them. If you keep Dak, you'll be able to take your choice between picking Zeke or Amari. You pick Zeke. That's not even a question.
And
So
Zeke's
Amari
what
goes
makes
away.
their team run anyways. So if they keep Zeke, then Dak will be fine. I feel like Zeke is the perfect complement that Dak needs.
And then as soon as you get rid of Amari, you can just draft like a good wide receiver or just kind of farm one throughout the years and try and get someone who's like really good. And then all of a
That's
sudden,
guaranteeing that you get one.
well, yeah, but you kind of have to play it like that.
All right.
You're putting they're putting
I-
trust in good people to get you the stuff that you need.
I've read a lot of stuff on Dallas, like the Cowboys' future. Like I've been watching this a lot just because I watch like First Take and Undisputed. Not that like I like them necessarily, but like Skip Bayless is a big Cowboys fan, so I was just interested in looking into it. And as from what I understand, I'm not the only one that thinks it's a worry. A lot of Cowboys fans think exactly the way I am. Right, like a lot of people think that are very, very concerned about the whole thing. But maybe you're right. Maybe that they're crazy and they don't have to worry about it. So
A lot of people I think overthink that a lot just with problems with like re-signing people because you never really know how things are going to turn out in because like no one thought that like AB was really going to get traded 2 years ago. They would thought that he would have been a Steeler for for the rest of his career. Same with Le'Veon Bell. Like this stuff just happens just kind of randomly, and you just kind of have to play that by ear. I think that the safest bet would just be to stick around, especially if you're making that much money.
yeah, I'm not saying don't stick around. I'm saying stick around for a little cheaper so you can make sure you get guys around you and even get more people.
I don't think that's going to happen for him. I think they're just going to because Jerry Jones is going to make like a big move.
What about you, Jack? You have any certain name that sticks out?
Got to prove.
Yeah.
Going back to Josh Rosen, and that guy has a whole lot to prove.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of like one really to where like all eyes are on that man. Like you get drafted first round. Him and Kyler Murray, really. I think those are the two to kind of look at, obviously, because so that's the story of the season going into it. You're like the new quarterback who's picked number 1 overall, and then the guy who got picked literally last.
Am I the only one though that's like rooting for Josh Rosen, or like does everybody I get people not thinking he's gonna be good. I get that, but am I the only one rooting for the guy? Like I'm like I love his like how pissed off he like I love it. Like he's so motivated. Like I really like hope for the best for him. I don't know. It's just the way I look at it. I'm pretty excited to watch him. He might suck. He might be horrible, but I like when people get motivated and pissed off and it's get a chip on their shoulder. I don't understand why people wouldn't be rooting for him.
All right, well, that's all the time we got for right now. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Tune in for next time. Thank you guys so much, and see you later.